just spent 7 days creating instead of consuming because this book told me to. It's week 4 of The Artist's Way, which is reading deprivation week. Everything we consume is a new perspective. We are constantly taking in all of these pieces of advice that add on to this endless to-do list of things that we want to do and things that we want to change to improve ourselves and to improve our life and to create new things, to have that inspiration. But what happens when we're constantly in this state of consumption, of taking more and more information every single day, is we get pulled in all of these different directions. And it can get really hard to hear ourselves in all of that noise. So this book hasn't been updated for the modern times. And I think a great expansion on holding off on reading is also holding off on scrolling, holding off on binge watching whatever comes up on Netflix, background listening to podcasts when I'm cleaning or walking or going for a drive or doing literally anything. This is what Julia says. Reading deprivation casts us into an inner silence, a space some of us begin to immediately fill with new words, long gossipy conversations, television binging, the radio as a constant chatty companion. We often cannot hear our own inner voice, the voice of our artist's inspiration above the static. And ain't that the truth? There's a sneaky little loop that we can get stuck in as creatives. Because we know just how good it can feel to come across something and feel that joy of inspiration, we're constantly on the prowl for the next thing. Everything that we come into contact with, is this the idea that I've been waiting for? Does this thing have the missing piece, the clue that I've been searching for? And maybe, but honestly, probably not. Be honest, how much of your consumption is actual worthwhile inspiration gathering? And how much is mindless distraction? And not only that, but overwhelming mindless distraction that sends us off into a billion other distractions. It's not as if the more you consume, the clearer you become. It's more a case of the more you consume, the more overwhelmed you feel, the less easier it becomes to make a decision and choose what it is that you want to create. The alternative is to simply sit with our own thoughts. So for week 4 of The Artist's Way, that's what I did. I massively reduced my consumption and eventually massively increased my creative output. Taking a step back from consuming whatever happened to be on my feed to scroll or whatever was up next on Netflix meant 2 things. Number 1, I really miss consuming the good juicy stuff, the things that actually inspire me. And so since this 1-week experiment ended, I've been watching more movies and reading more books on purpose, actively seeking out the things I genuinely want to consume, the things that genuinely fill me up. And number 2, I remembered that creating something is infinitely more satisfying and more enjoyable than just passively consuming stuff can ever be. I can be really lazy. My brain can be really lazy. I don't know, it's like I have this really convincing voice inside my head that just wants me to do absolutely nothing. It's very persuading. It wants me to just melt on the couch and just consume everything I can. And the worst part is that the more I listen to that voice, the more I give that voice power, the stronger, the louder it gets, and the easier it becomes to stay in swamp mode. But when I ignore that voice, when I'm like, no, that's not the way that we're doing things, I've got things that I actually want to do, and when I listen to my true desires, the voices that tell me what I really want to be doing, how I really want to be spending my time and energy, then my energy multiplies, then my enthusiasm skyrockets. Because the very act of creating is energy creating. The more you do, the more your capacity to create expands. Isn't that lovely? I've spoken to a few people who said they actually quit this program at this week, at week 4, when it tells you to stop reading. And you know, I get it. They say like how valuable reading is and how much reading helps them and is such an integral part of their life. Totally on board with that. Babes, you are missing the whole point. Yeah, you might be consuming stuff that is enriching and that is helpful, but I bet you $1 million you are consuming even more junk along with it. And this is just the easiest way to do it. This is the easiest way to clear space and to sharpen your perspective and to make it so obvious to you what it is that you do want to consume and what changes you do want to make. The easiest way to start prioritizing creating more than you consume is to go cold turkey on consuming for a couple days. We're asking for 7 days here. You can do this. And in just 1 week, you can give yourself the space to think and the space to make clear choices. Whether you're doing the artist way or not, I cannot recommend a consumption detox more. Let yourself be bored. Let yourself become so bored because suddenly you're not having a little scroll when you've got 2 minutes to wait somewhere, when you're not constantly listening to other people's opinions when you're in the car, on your walk, or doing whatever you're doing throughout your life. But you're giving yourself the space to think. You're giving yourself the luxury of spending time solely with yourself. Yeah, it's absolutely going to be uncomfortable at times, but you will feel so much better for it. If you're doing the artist way, if you try this out, please leave a comment below. We want to know how you're doing, how you find this. And I really want to know how this felt for you, how it feels to take a break, or if just listening to me have a little chit chat about this with you is making you think, oh shit, I need to do that. I want to do a little consumption detox. I want to spend some time with myself. I want to get intimate with my own thoughts and give myself space to think. And space to just breathe, relax a little bit, not feel like you have to add another 50 things to your to-do list all the time, or you have to be pulled in all these different ways. And also, if it's something that you want to do regularly, which for me, I think it is. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video if you know what's good for you. We're gonna get to 100K this year, I'm telling you right now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.